Good evening, Chavrusa Daf.
I got Chulent.
Or good morning to those listening to now in the morning.
Where were we holding?
I got Chulent. I got some polars.
We got seltzers.
If you like,
How's everyone doing? How Yitzi Linger?
send a comment and we'll send you a polar.
Polo shirt?
You just gotta cover the shipping and handling. And do you do handling anymore? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It's a thing. Okay.
So where were we holding?
We were really in the middle of trying to understand why, according to Rabbah,
Who says what?
who says that the reason why you have to say "B'fanei nechtam, b'fanei nechtam" is because people that are in Chutz Aretz don't know the halacha of the Shema. So what do we say? We said, why don't we just quickly chazer? So there's two.
Sure.
You have to say "B'fanei nechtam" coming if you bring a get from Chutz Aretz, the aid.
Right.
There's two reasons why you have to say "B'fanei nechtam." Rava says because people in Chutz Aretz are not bekian in Lishma, and Rava says l'fisha ein edim tzuyin l'kaimai. What we said nafkamina, right? If you, we don't have to go through the nafkaminas, but then we asked the question. According to Rava, you should need two edim if it's edos, right? You're testifying that you're essentially testifying that this get was written Lishma. Except because, oh no, it's Isur, and Eidach and Isur. He said, no, but this is a Davar Sheba Arva. Davar Sheba Arva, Ein Pachas Mishnayim. We said, because Raiv, we have a Raiv here, that's really everyone, even in Chutz Aretz, is Baki in this halacha of Lishma. And by the way, don't worry about Rav Meir who's Chayish L'Miyuta, because this is like all Seifrim of the courts. Like, you don't have to be Chayish for the Miyut. So really, come along the Rabbah. So Midaraisa, you don't need it, but come along the Rabbanan, and they said, no, you still need Eidos, that it's written Lishma. We are worried that some guy's gonna pull, the husband himself is gonna pull out a get from the garbage. Okay, so you should need two Eidim. No, but the Rabbanan wanted to be Mekel because of Aguna. If you require two Eidim, many times you wouldn't be able to find two Eidim, and then more women will become Agunas. So even though they need you they need testimony to say that it was written Lishma, they allowed for one. That's what we're up to. Shemiguna Yikul Barabana.
Okay, great.
Now we're up to Haikulahu Chumrahu.
Right.
Would you like?
Go ahead.
Okay. Is this a leniency for this lady? It's a chumrah. This is a potential stringency. Why? For if you require two witnesses to confirm the get, the validity of the get, the husband can't later come and challenge the get and validate it. But now the fact that you're just requiring only one person to come and say and essentially give edus on it, the husband can then later come and challenge the get's validity and make it possible. So why is it a leniency to allow one aid to say it's actually bad for her?
We said that the Rabbanan were Mekel when it came to having one person declare B'fanei nechtam, because of Aguna.
Yeah.
Comes along the Gemara and says, is that a leniency? It's a stringency.
Right.
Because if you require two, the husband can't come later and challenge it.
Yeah.
But if you require only one,
the
husband can come and challenge the get.
Yeah. So, Kivan the Amar Mar. Since Mar said, in the presence of how many must the shliach deliver a get to a woman and say Panachtav? Rabbi Yechanan and Rabbi Chanina, Charam B'fnei Beis, Charam B'fnei Gimel, one said in the presence of two, 1 and 3. But both agree that the shliach, when he gives the get, gives it in the presence of at least two people. So Me'ikara Me'dak Daik, accordingly, there's a presumption that from the outset, the shliach investigates thoroughly. But also, literally now, she's careful not to come to compromise himself by having the husband challenge his declaration later. For this reason, Our reliance upon a single agent's testimony will never result in its stringency. So what happens? Basically, I guess it's the fact that you're giving it now in front of 2 or 3 that gives the shliach the strength that the Baal is not going to be able to apostle it, because there's basically eidos here from the people that saw this person give it.
Meaning, we thought there would be a challenge because it's only one. No, the actual giving of the get is taking place, and he won't be able to come after and say and invalidate it.
Such a procedure, just to give a get, you gotta, I guess it's a big thing, but so he has to say these things, he has to give it in front of 2. When he gets it from the husband, he's got to sign it to Aiden.
But why can't the husband continue to invalidate it by saying, or challenge it by saying, okay, fine, it was given in front of 2 people, but I'm telling you that
it wasn't
Lishma, and you only have one person saying Lishma. Oh, no, 2 in front of 2 people, he said it was Lishma. Okay, but only one person said it was Lishma.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess you wouldn't believe him. Right, what's the Baal trying to be Ma'ari here? What you have, Pshat?
It's that look at number 6. Nobody wants to look foolish in public. An agent would look foolish, however, if he confirmed the get's validity and the husband then challenged it. Hence, we may presume that to avoid such humiliation, the agent thoroughly investigates whether the get is indeed valid. He ascertains both that the husband wants to give it and that the get was written properly. This makes it unlikely that the husband will ever challenge its validity, and causes us to believe the agent over the husband if he does challenge it, since the challenge runs counter to the legal presumption that the agent determined the get to be valid. It's not really talking about the fact that it's in front of others.
Yeah, almost as if that's nothing to do with the answer. Then it's accordingly. So, this is it. This is the logic. It's because this shliach knows that when he's going to be giving it to this woman, there's going to be people watching. There's an audience. So he can't just take this job haphazardly. He's going to wait. There's an audience there. They're going to ask me questions. They're going to ask me, well, was it written Lishma? Was it right, the right intent? So he's going to now then go back. He doesn't want to look dumb, so he's going to make sure that the get is valid, that the husband wanted to give it, meaning it wasn't forced, and that it was written for her. And because of this reason, we believe the shliach over the husband is what it's saying.
Got it.
All right. Ulurava. Okay. Now we're about to go back to Ulurava. We probably should have gotten till here yesterday. Ulurava. But we didn't. It's fine. Now we have the same question, but we're going to ask it on Rava. Eli asked the question yesterday, so I'll let him take it over today as well.
Rava the Amar, Rava who said, the reason you have to say b'fanei nechtam is because witnesses will not be readily available in Eretz Yisrael to confirm the signatures on the get. Libai trey, it should require 2 witnesses to confirm them. Just as with all other cases of document confirmation, you require 2 people to confirm. And for the Gemara distinguishes between Gittin and other documents. A single witness is believed with regards to Isurim. Since the validity of the get is relevant to a matter of Esther, the authenticity of a get can be confirmed by a single witness. Fact the Gemara, one could say that when do we apply the principle that in a case of a piece of fat, that is perhaps a piece of forbidden fat or perhaps a piece of permitted fat. For in such a case, we haven't established that there's an Isser here. But over here is chazik yisur the eshes ish. The state of being forbidden as a married woman has been previously established. Havi davar sheba. This is therefore a matter that contains an erva. Vein davar sheba pachas mibeis. So why do we allow a single shliach when he makes a declaration of the authenticity? We say that suffices. Gittin, who really the law should be to be kiyum shtaris nominally that even ordinary document confirmation should also not require two witnesses. Reish Lakish, as is clear from the statement of Reish Lakish, who used to be a robber.
That's right.
The Amar Reish Lakish, for Reish Lakish said, Edim hachasumim al hashtar. Witnesses signed on a document, Nasu kami shenech kara, edusan beveisdin. Witnesses signed on a document are treated as if their testimony has been examined in court and accepted. The Rabbanan hu da'atzrach, and it was the Rabbanan that required document confirmation. The hacha, but here, when the get was written abroad, mishum di guna, because of aguna, akula be'Rabbanan, the Rabbanan acted leniency toward her and allowed a single agent to confirm the signatures. So, it's very similar flow to the previous Gemara in some ways, in that you need two. No, eidachanem b'yisur. In fact, the Gemara eidachanem b'yisur. This is different. This is erva, and erva is no pachas mibeis. So it comes along the Gemara, it says, okay, fine, erva pachas mibeis, but over here,
Kiyum Sharis actually needs 0. Really, Kiyum Sharis doesn't need any Edom.
and so
Why
not.
are we saying 1?
So it's not erva. It's where the Gemara pushes back and says, it's not erva. It's actually kiyum shtaris, and kiyum shtaris is, you thought,
We thought you meant 2.
2.
That's where it started.
Right. It's actually not 1.
It's
The
0.
Gemara really doesn't answer the question as to why it's not erva. The Gemara just says, by the way,
You're right, because we're just looking at the shtar part. This
Right.
is all about the shtar. So it's saying that really by shtaris you actually need 0, like Reish Lakish said, because the Edom Achsuma al shtar. That's Mishnah Korizim Vezin. I don't understand that actually. Because a person does not have the audacity to forge a document, since something that stands to be uncovered in court. Thus, we do not question the authenticity of the signatures on a document under biblical law.
so in that case, like, oh, you thought pachas mi-erva, erva's not pachas mishtayim. No, in this case, fine, maybe you're right in the case of erva, but over here, midiraisa, we're talking about a case where the focus is on the shtar. It's kiyum shtaris. It's not erva in its truest sense.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We're in Rava. I'm sorry, now I'm getting it more. Rava, who said that the reason why you say Vanav Vanakdam is because of and you need to be able to verify that the signatures that are on this get were real people, and that's what this person is doing by saying it. I actually need 2 people to verify the signatures. Says Gemara, no, Kiyum Shtar doesn't need anybody. If you have the signatures on a shtar, that is the Edom. You don't need another person now to say that these are good.
Right. And even according to the Rabbanan, who argued on Reish Lakish and said, you do need document confirmation. Here, the Rabbanan would be makel and say, because of Aguna, one person, the Shliach, saying Farinecham is sufficient.
I think when it says Rabbanan hu de'itzrach, it means like midrabbanan as opposed to midaraisa. Meaning there is no daraisa level of Edom. The Rabbanan came along, right? I think it's within Reish Lakish, right? The Rabbanan came along and said, no, but we still need something. You don't need 2. It's like the same thing that we had in the second before. You don't need 2. So you need 1. Mishum iguni kil barabbanan. They allow a single agent to confirm the signatures on the gap.
The Gemara, haikulahu, this is a leniency. Chumrahu, it's a stringency. The imitz matz rechat lay trey. For if you require 2 witnesses to confirm the authenticity, Layasi Bal Ma'ari Fasala. The husband cannot later come challenge a get and validate it. Abachad Asar Bal Ma'ari Fasala. The husband can then come challenge and invalidate the get. So we're making. So why is it a stringency, by the way?
Because by you allowing one person, it's going to cause more cases of iguna, potentially. More cases of heartache for the woman.
Got it.
Because if you require two, then you're going to make sure to do two.
Right. And then you're not going to run into that issue.
You won't have iguna cases because, the husband is I hear actually you're saying. Oh, wait, ask the question again.
No.
No. You're saying, what do you mean? You're going to require...
That the Gemara is saying, like, we were makel that we have... We're makel in the sense that we should have two, but we want her to go free and not be in a state of lockdown. So we'll allow one.
Right.
In fact, the Gemara...
But it's
you don't want her to be in a state of lockdown? She's going to be in a state of lockdown because you had one, she's going to be in a state of lockdown when the husband gets upset.
Yeah, but the husband's going to get upset. But now the husband's at least alive. You're not an iguna. An iguna is like when the woman is like, I don't know where my husband is. The husband is coming and complaining on the get. No, she's not an iguna.
I think it's in a state of limbo. I think that's what it is. Right? Like if you're not sure.
She's going to be thinking the whole time, well, there's only one. Maybe he's going to come.
Or he's going to come. Even if he does come,
so now I can't get married.
Then she's not going to be able to get married.
So she's going to wait because she's like, I don't really feel comfortable.
No, I think he's going to dispute it. And then you're not going to know what to believe.
Right, you're saying he will dispute it.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen? She had already remarried based off of that.
Right.
Single Adas. And then she's in a state of limbo.
Yeah.
So stringent means you're making her life even harder by allowing one.
Right.
Yeah. So why is it a leniency? In the presence of how many must the shliach deliver the get to the woman? Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina, but they both agree that he must give the get in front of others. Accordingly, there's a presumption that from the outset the shliach is going to investigate it thoroughly, because he doesn't want to compromise himself. So when he gives it over, there's going to be people there, so he's going to do his homework, and because of that,
we don't believe the husband.
We're going to allow him, the singles agent's testimony,
to be stronger than the husband's,
to be together with his due diligence.
Because of the due diligence. How do we know he did the due diligence? How do we know he did the due diligence? Because we know people don't like to make a fool of themselves.
Right. We don't.
And therefore we believe him over the husband because he has more of a reason to be right since he doesn't want to make a fool of himself.
Right. He's going to have to do this in front of two people. So he better be right. Imagine those two people who are like, actually, like, more people in the room, more people, more sources. He's going to be.
Great. Now.
Okay, so now Rabbah, just to review, Rava and Rabbah, can't even see how much time I have. It's going to die, Rabbi.
Secret. If it dies, is it safe? It's all right. Let's just continue. Let's continue learning. Wait. I know what you could do. You could scroll down. No. I guess you did. What did I just do? Huh? All right.
Okay, so now
we got
Rava and Rabbah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have this machlekes Rava and Rabbah, and Rava was the one who said that we don't have, the reason you have to say b'fanei is because we don't have shluch edim readily available to confirm the get, and Rabbah was worried about the fact that we're not going to be sure it's lishma.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Gemara wants to know, why does Rava, not say as Rabbah did?
Yeah, classic. We'll try to understand
that the shliach's declaration is needed to prove that the get was written lishma. Omer l'cha, Rava would tell you Miktani b'fanei nechtav l'shma b'fanei nechtav mishma. Does the Mishnah teach the shliach has to write in the presence for the sake of this woman, and it was signed for the sake of this woman? No. So when the Mishnah teaches you b'fanei nechtav, it's not teaching about l'shma. It's teaching you about the idea of
that you gotta verify signatures.
Verify the signatures. So the Gemara defends Rabba's position. The Rabba b'dinhu d'lisnei hachi. By rights, the Mishnah should have taught that the agent must explicitly state this.
You're right. Should have said the lishma part. I give you that.
Ela di'im mifshat leidibur. But the Rabbanim were concerned that if you would increase the length of declaration required of him, Asilim makes it. He might cut the declaration short and thereby invalidate the get.
He's going to jumble his words. I have a fun enough of shema, and then he's going to, what?
Right.
Fun enough, I can remember. Fun enough shema. Fun enough shema.
So, and if he omits a word, it's going to be bad, and then she's going to go, it's not going to be a kosher get, and then she's going to go have children, and then be mamzer.
Also, you know the word lishma, it has like a dot in the hay? You know how to pronounce that?
What? There's a dot in the hay, yeah.
Yeah, you know how to pronounce a dot in the hay?
No.
A regular hay just, but when there's a dot in the hay, it's lishma. Shma.
Oh,
so imagine that.
Stewie from Family Guy says, "Cool whip."
Whip.
Wow. Mamish.
And the RL units in Farrakhan?
We cut it out.
So anyways, yeah, so maybe that's why it's a raya, you're supposed to like really pronunciate it, because like, well, we don't want the shliach having to go like the shema. He'll lose his breath, he'll forget what he was saying. It's a joke, but I think that's half right. You know?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No, great, yeah. The Rabbah b'dinhu delisnei hachi. The Mishnah should have said it. All right, we did that. Hashtanami. So now too, the sage, the Chachamim Rabbanan didn't require him to state that it was made for the sake of the women. Also, he might still cut the declaration short, right? If he says b'fanei nechtav, he might just say b'fanei nechtav v'nechtam. Right? What if he leaves out one of the words in the 4 words? You don't want it to be 6 words. Right. You don't want it to be 6 words. What about 4? Maybe 4 words is too much also.
Yeah, 4 is a lot.
So, and for the Gemara, chad mitlas guys, 1 word out of 3 he might omit. Chad mitate loy guys, 1 word out of 2 he would not omit. So, fanei nechtav is 2 words. Fanei nechtam is 2 words. He's not going to omit 1 of the 2. 1 of 3 he might omit. 3 is a crowd.
3 is a crowd. 2 is a company. You don't forget companies.
Yeah. Rabba, my time lemak Rabba. Rabba, why didn't he say like Rabba did, that the shliach's declaration is to confirm the authenticity? Why does he say it's about lishma? Right? Rabba was about lishma. So
I'm just gonna say before we get to this, I don't really get the 2-3 word thing. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Like Shalom Aleichem Rebbe. I remember that. That's a 3-word phrase. You know?
Mm-hmm. Fine.
3-word phrase. I don't know. Whatever.
But the point is though, the more words you have.
I get that. So then the more words you have.
1 or 2 words are easy. Once you start rambling on, it's too much. It's just too much.
Come on.
It's just the nature of numbers. Don't argue on the nature of numbers.
Sometimes I have to like memorize an entire speech. You're saying I can't remember 6 words, and 2 of the 6 words are the same.
We want to reduce the chance. Maybe you could, but want to reduce the chance of mess up, because if you mess up, it might lead to mamzerim. So if the shorter we can go, the better.
All right. Shorter is better.
So, Rabba, why didn't he say that we're saying it to confirm the authenticity of the signatures? The Mishnah should have said it was signed in my presence. Why is it necessary for him to say it was written in my presence, Shma mina be'inan lishma, that we require confirmation that the get was written for the sake of the woman. The Rava would answer, Bedin hu delisni hachi. By rights, the Mishnah should have taught this, that the agent only is testifying about the signing, and he should only say before nechtam. El de'im came, but if that were so, asi lachlufe became shtar sama. The case of get might come to be confused with ordinary cases of document confirmation, and people might think there too, be'ed echad, that if we say b'fanei nechtam and not b'fanei nichtav,
That's a stretch, right? Okay.
Hold on. The Mishnah should have said only b'fanei nechtam. But if we say that b'fanei nechtam, the case of get might come to be confused with other cases, and they'll think the confirmation can be accomplished with one witness. The shliach testified only that the get was signed in his presence. It would be clear that he's simply confirming the signatures. People might then confuse that with the ordinary document confirmation and conclude that any document can be confirmed by a single witness who testifies that he recognizes the signatures on it. To avoid such a mistake, the Chachamim required the shliach to also testify b'fanei nechtav. This clearly distinguishes an agent's declaration regarding get from other document confirmations.
Okay. So we need to distinguish this from other document confirmations. Otherwise, people are going to come to think that only one aid is needed for document confirmations. We don't want to think that. So we say b'fanei nechtav. Even though you're right. All I'd have to say is b'fanei nechtav, according to me.
Why?
Because
By
it's eidim swing kaimei.
So by regular documents, what do they have to do?
Oh, you need two eidim if you want to verify signatures. You can't just have an aid echad.
So why by saying, why would I get confused if I only said b'fanei nechtam?
Because that's what they probably do by
the b'fanei nechtam is an indicator that this is different?
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's saying extra?
Yeah, because in front of me is written. Other stars, I don't need a lishma, so why are you... Oh, well, I'm putting that in there, but like... I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's true. But yeah, the b'fanei nechtam is an indicator that this is different. The Rabbah. Ready, Ellie? The Rabbah. But Rabbah would respond, "Mi dummy. Is the shliach's declaration really similar to other document confirmations? No. Don't tell me that. Oh, everyone says b'fanei nechtam, so you're gonna get confused. It's all different. Hasam, by regular document confirmations, by shtaras, yadinan. You know what they say? They say, we know that these signatures are authentic. That's what they say, yadinan. We recognize these signatures. Hacha, b'fanai. Here they're saying b'fanai. So already that's difference number one. Difference number two. Hasam, by shtaras, isha lay mehemna, a woman is not believed to confirm the document. Hacha, here by get, isha mehemna. A woman is believed to make the declaration if she is the agent. You could have women shliachs give a get. Hasam, third difference, bal davar lemehemen. Normally, by shtaris, the bal davar, the person, on his own shtar is not believed to confirm the document. Hacha, bal davar mehemen. The woman herself is believed to confirm the get. This is a case where a husband gave his wife a get outside of Eretz Yisrael and stipulated that she bring the get to a court in Eretz Yisrael as his agent. In such a case, she must declare, as any agent must, it was written in my presence and signed in my presence. The get is then valid and the divorce takes effect. So you already see three differences between shtaris and get. So don't tell me that b'fanei nechtam is like, I'm going to confuse it when the guy would just say b'fanei nechtam. And that's why I had to add b'fanei nechtam. No, so it's a question on Rava. It's a question on Rava. Rava, the question goes back to, why is it saying b'fanei nechtam? Just say b'fanei nechtam. According to you, Rava. So what's Rava going to answer?
I read it. Go ahead.
Rava Amarlach. Atu hacha, is this to say that here in the case of get, the Amri Yadinon, if let's say they would say Yadinon that we recognize the signatures Milim Hemne, would they not be believed? Of course they would. And now if they say Yadinon and they are believed, then you are going to get it confused. And people will think that you can do confirmation with one aid to avoid this mistake. The Rabbanan required the Shliach to be made about the gets writing as well as the signing. That's what you have to say b'fanei nechtav u'b'fanei nechtav.
When you say b'fanei nechtav, it differentiates between the two.
Right.
And b'fanei nechtam to actually validate the authenticity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Keep going.
So now we're gonna ask on Rabbah. Okay, the heat is off for Rabbah for now. Well, Rabbah the Amar, according to Rabbah, who said, "If he ain't keen l'shma." My Haitana, who's the Tana of our Mishnah? The boy Ksiva Lishma. Who's the Tana of our Mishnah that is requiring the text of a get to be written for the sake of the woman being divorced? Uboy, and also requires Chasim Lishma, that the signing of the get be done for the woman who's being divorced. Right, what's the question? What did our Mishnah say you have to say? B'fanei nechtav u'b'fanei nechtam. According to Rabbah, if the whole purposes of this declaration is to make sure the people who wrote the get are aware of the Lishma requirement, it is apparent that both the writing of the get and its signing must be done Lishma. So now the Gemara now seeks a Tana who requires both these actions to be performed Lishma. Right, we just said really he should be saying
what does signing Lishma mean? That the Adam did it for her sake? Like with her in mind? But Nechtav I can understand because he's actually writing it for her.
Great question. Very good question. What exactly is Lishma? So right, you know what it means for signing. So okay, maybe that doesn't mean that the signers are doing it for the sake of...
Meaning that the signers didn't know who the woman was?
Rivka Bas Leah.
Right, they're just like, oh, whoever it is.
Right.
Like they have to actually know it was for her.
Rivka Bas Leah, Shel Pliny, City.
And when it says for the sake of the woman, that means the cipher has to be the one?
Whoever's writing it. Whoever wrote it, which is, the silver.
So you need the husband's...
To want. The husband has to have the das.
Meaning, if the husband has two wives with the name Rachel Bas Shimon, and he's like, I'll figure out which one I want to give to later on, that's not Lishma. So he needs to have Lishma. The cipher has to know which of the two wives it is.
Know which one.
And the two Adam have to know which one it's being referred to when they're signing.
Right.
So 4 individuals need to have a head for Lishma.
That is a very good point. Many times you just think, the Baal has to do Lishma. No. This is so fair. There's the Baal, there's the Adam that are signing it, and then there's the Aid that is the Shliach.
Can the cipher be the Aid? Can the cipher sign?
I want to say that it's a Gemara. It's going to be a Gemara.
Can the husband sign?
I don't think a husband can sign.
Because the woman could be the shliach.
Good. I knew that was coming.
I don't know.
But that was already a... I don't think the husband, but that was already a chiddush, like the woman could be her shliach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's this type of the Mishnah?
That needs chasim lishma. If he says Rameh Chasima by Baksiva Levi, he only requires that the signing has to be done for the sake of the woman, but he doesn't require the Ksiva has to be done for her sake. The Tnan, as it says, Ein Kaisvin b'mechubar lekarka. You're not allowed to write a get on something that's attached to the ground, like on a leaf, big leaf.
Where do we?
We saw that in the intro.
No, Rameir is in our Mishnah?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It's referencing something else. Okay.
However, if one did write it on something attached to the ground, and then he detached it, then had it signed and gave it to her, it is kosher. So you see, according to a mayor, the time of that Mishnah, the get must only be signed for the sake of the woman, but not written for her.
You see in note 3, that's what we learn now, Sefer Krisos. And that's the document of severance. If it's attached, it's not a severed document.
Ooh.
And therefore, but if it's only the signature that has to take place when it is after severance. Severance snake.
Rabbi Lezer, and if you say it's Rabbi Lezer, Ksiva Bai, he only holds that the Ksiva has to be done Lishma B'chasim Alai Bai. So who's the Tana of our Mishnah that it's saying V'fanai Nechtav V'fanai Nechtam Lishma according to Rabbah? Question on Rabbah.
Okay.
Try to answer it. No, I will tell you it's really Rabbi Lezer. What do you mean? But he only said Ksiva, you need not Chasiva. However, when does Rabbi Lezer not require signing for the sake of the woman? Midaraisa. When he says Chasima, you don't need Lishma, it's only Midaraisa you don't need Lishma. But in Rabbanan Bai, you still need it to be signed for her sake. Midrabanan. And that's why our Mishnah requires the declaration about both the writing and the signing.
Meaning you might answer this.
It's a valid answer. Right?
The Gemara discounts one possible. Now perhaps you will answer. Right.
That would be a good potential answer. But no, hold on, we're about to discount it. So I saw the full price. Should get Rabbanan can't be true because we learned in the Mishnah regarding 3 Gittin that are invalid at the rabbinic level. That Rabbi Lezer disagrees and presumably does not require signing for the sake of the woman even at the rabbinic level. He therefore cannot be the Tana of a Mishnah. I'm sorry, I just read that, but I didn't know what I was just saying. Why? Because there's a Mishnah that says Shleish Gittin Psul D'Rabbanan. And in that
he says that they are valid. Meaning, on the rabbinic level, he says they're valid. They're not signed Lishma. Oh, because I'm not worried about Lishma.
So you see, Rabbi Lezer doesn't need Chasim Lishma, even in the Rabbanan.
So he can't be the Tana of our Mishnah.
So you can't be the Tana of our Mishnah. Okay, got it. Gemara now cites the Mishnah in which this dispute is found. Oh, Shleisha Gittin Psulin. Ready to do Shleisha Gittin Psulin? Here we go.
Is that the name of the pair?
It sounds like it, right? I don't think it is.
Oh, you're learning Shleisha Gittin. Interesting.
It's not. V'loi bai Rabbi Lezer the time Gimel Gittin Psulin. Shleisha Gittin Psulin. Imnisis havad kasher. But if she married again, the offspring of the second marriage is legitimate. So even though these Gittin are invalid, if she got married and had a kid, the kid would not be a mamzer. Now, what are these 3 cases?
They're only invalid, except note 9, on the rabbinical level. Where they get to be invalid at Midaraisa would serve absolutely no function.
Were the get to be invalid at the biblical level, serve absolutely no function, leaving the woman still married to her original husband, and any child born from relations with another man would then be a mamzer. Okay.
So what are those 3 gets?
What are they? Kasav b'ksav yadai ve'ein alav edim. A get in which he wrote it in his own handwriting because he was in a rush or he just couldn't afford to get, the parchment and the ink and a cipher. So he wrote it by hand. And there are no witnesses signed on it. Or, second case, yesh alav edim ve'ein a get that has witnesses on it but it doesn't have a date recorded. Or yesh b'zman ve'in by ella eid echad, or it has the date, so it says everything on this date, but it only has one eid echad. Harei elu shleisha gittin psul. V'imnises havad kasher. But if she did get married again, because it's only possible midarabanan, but it is a kosher midaraisa get, the vlad will be kosher.
So in these cases, midaraisa they're all good, midarabanan they're not. Look at note 12.
Crazy. You could have no edim on a get and it's kosher midaraisa.
No, you have one witness.
No. First case, where the husband wrote the get himself. So note 10 says, it's Chiddush, I didn't know this. This Tana holds that even though no witnesses signed the get, it is nevertheless valid at the biblical level since the husband himself wrote it. All right. Which I kind of hear.
Maybe there's Adam that he wrote it.
I mean, like, I kind of hear. Get, it's like Esther. It's not, I mean, it is a star, but we're acting like, imagine you needed to divorce a person and.
Well, what does the signing do? The signing, in essence, attaches what a cipher wrote to the person. Comes in the Torah and says, when you write it yourself, I don't need that. I don't need that edis that attaches, associates, correlates, and causates the signatures to the man. You understand?
Okay. Can you get married without Adam? I wonder. Imagine you wrote your own ksuba.
I don't know. I mean, there's multi steps to this. Gittin is Gittin. You hand the get. When there's a cipher and someone's like, I want this to be affiliated and associated with me, you need Adam to sign on that. Comes along the Torah and says, when you yourself write it as the husband, you don't need Adam to sign on that.
So if you yourself as the husband write
you probably need Adam to
Shari get married. I don't know.
To visualize the giving of the get. But because look at note 12 anyway.
Okay, note 12.
The get, in that case, the third case,
which was the get was written by a scribe and signed by only one witness. It is nevertheless valid at the biblical level because the scribe's writing of the get is tantamount to testimony that he was told to write it by the husband. Hence, together with the additional testimony of the one witness who signed the get, there are two witnesses testifying. This one I hear, and this answers your question, and this cipher can be an aid.
Right. Okay, so if she's not supposed to get
married, and it really answers the question of, can the husband be an aid? If the husband doesn't even have to have any aidim, this is basically like the husband is the biggest aid in the world. Like, there's no better aid than the husband if he himself is writing it.
Yeah, but if he doesn't write it, the question is, could he sign it?
Could he be an aid? I'm thinking he could, but...
I'm thinking that. Question?
Bobby.
Okay, so, but if she remarries, the offspring of the second marriage is kosher. Even though there are no witnesses at all on the get, but he gave it to her in the presence of witnesses, kosher, it is valid. Rabbi Elazar rules that these three gittin, and even one without any witnesses at all, are valid. Since the Tanna Kama disqualified the three gittin only on the rabbinical level, Rabbi Elazar, who disagrees, must be ruling that these three gittin, and even one without any witnesses at all, are completely valid. So you see that according to Rabbi Elazar, he does not, he says, even midrabanan, you don't need Adam. Ending off the Mishnah, the Gaiva Menachasa Mishabadim, and a document of this kind can be used to collect from encumbered properties. She'ena Adam Chaisman al get el b'nei tiknai, because witnesses sign on a get only for the benefit of society. So this is finishing off what Rabbi Elazar was saying. He says you don't need a get, you don't need witnesses on this get. It's kosher. And a document of this kind can be used to collect certain types of properties. When a person incurs a debt, any real estate he owns at the time becomes subject to a lien for the debt. Should the debtor sell the property, the lien remains in force, and it allows the creditor to take the property from the buyer if the debtor cannot pay the debt. Properties that's sold by a debtor that remain subject to collection for his debts are known as nechasim mishubadim, encumbered properties.
Yep.
One can collect from encumbered property, however, only if the debt was recorded in a valid document. The Mishnah here states that according to Rabbi Elazar, a lender holding an unsigned loan document can collect the money due to him from encumbered property if the document was handed over to him in the presence of witnesses. And because he holds witnesses sign a get only for the benefit of society. So, note 16, that is, according to Rabbi Elazar, there is no need to have witnesses sign a get for it to be an effective instrument of divorce. Rather, the reason that witnesses customarily sign a get is in order to provide the woman with proof of her divorce.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if the people who witnessed the get being given were to die, the woman would be left without any evidence that she was in fact divorced. By having witnesses sign her get, she has the opportunity to prove her divorce at any time by finding witnesses who can recognize the signatures on the get.
At any rate, this Mishnah proves that Rabbi Elazar does not disqualify an unsigned get, even according to rabbinic law. Presumably, the same would be true for a get that was signed not for the sake of this woman. Hence, our Mishnah which requires that the get be both written and signed Lishma cannot follow Rabbi Elazar's view.
Okay, so we're going to stop here. We're going to start tomorrow on whether or not Reb Meir can be the Tana of our Mishnah.
Oh, baby. Shkaya.